Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we are going to be continuing on with our our Swift tutorial series. And in this particular video, we're going to be taking a look at lazy properties. Now, what exactly are lazy properties? Well, they are pretty much exactly what they sound like. They're properties whose initialization is put off until you use it for the first time. So until you actually need it, they aren't initialized necessarily. Okay? Now, why should you use lazy? Well, lazy can help you, as I mentioned, postpone any expensive tasks during the initialization phase of a variable in your classes. So in a class here called example, I have two variables, x and y. They're both integers. I have an initializer, which initializes x and y, and then I have a function that performs a expensive task of some kind. Okay, so that's what this is doing. Now, of course, if let's say we want to assign let's go into Xcode, and I want to, and let's say I want to assign y to be the result of our expensive task. And we can say, instead of passing y, let's see. Instead of passing y into the constructor, we're just going to pass x. And self y equals, instead of y, we're going to say expensive operation. In fact, I feel like probably our best bet instead would be to just get rid of the self dot y equals whatever from the initializer. And we'll have self y int equals, and then we'll have a closure. But before we do anything with this closure, we need to put left and right parentheses at the end of that. And where we have var y int equals da 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 da, put lazy in front of it. All right. Now, inside of the closure, we need to return, let's say, expensive task. Okay. So what we're getting an error here somewhere. So let's take a look here. Okay. So okay, I see what we're doing here. So we need to finish this up. Dot reduce 0 plus, like that. And save that code.
And there we go. We're good now. We should be okay. There's
no errors, and we're good. Okay. Now, if we go ahead and we, let's see. Well, we're in our main file already. So, above our class, we can say var example equals example, and we can say print example.x. We can say x is set to 10, let's say. So save that, and we can run our code. And you can see we get 10 immediately. We don't have to wait numerous seconds in order to get our output. And the reason for that is because our property of y is being lazily loaded, right? So if we want to then print out our property of y, print example.y, and we can save this and run it. Now it's going to take a little bit of time to print out y. Maybe not a whole large amount of time, depending on how efficient you write your code, but this code that I wrote isn't very efficient, and that's the whole point, right? So after a while, it will print out our result there, but that is pretty much how the lazy keyword works. Let's go back up to the top of our file and talk a little bit more about like why you shouldn't or when you shouldn't use lazy. So you should not use lazy if you are working with multiple threads, because if you try to access a lazy property on multiple threads, it's not guaranteed that there won't be multiple versions of it created, and you'll get some pretty funky results and all that. You can check the Swift documentation for lazy to kind of get more information on that. Just know it's not thread safe, and if you try to use it across multiple threads, it could result in some pretty funky side effects. You should also not use lazy if we're talking about inexpensive tasks. So if you just need a value assigned to a property immediately, like var y equals 10 or something like that in your class, don't use lazy. All right, that's not what it's used for, and you're really just introducing more unnecessary complexity into your code. So for inexpensive tasks, do not use lazy. All right. Now why you should not overuse lazy is for a similar reason to why you shouldn't introduce lazy for inexpensive tasks, in that it introduces additional complexity if you use lazy for everything. If you overuse it, it can also cause some pretty funky side effects of its own if you overuse it. So try not to overuse it, and you won't have as many issues. You won't have as many errors and bugs in your code and whatnot. So that pretty much does it for the lazy keyword. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we will see you all in the next one.